everyone. Good evening. We are back with yet another live session. Very excited to be here with all of you. Happy Friday to our viewers here. Welcome Sushil Sani. Good to see you, Nina. Hi, Dheeraj. We are going to be talking about the topic of this week, which is food and its impact on mental health, and we have a very special guest who's going to be joining in. We will wait for a couple of you to join in so that we can invite our special guest here. Thank you so much for joining in this Friday evening. It's the last working day of the week for some of us, and we would like to end that day with a bang, with some full blast knowledge your way. Hoping for some of you to join in. Please invite your friends and family. We will be talking about food habits and its impact on mental health. And if any of you or your friends or family would be interested in asking our experts certain questions, especially during this pandemic, the difficulties that we are facing, please post those questions on the comment box and we would be happy to answer them for you. Let's have some more of you people joining in. I will be inviting our guest now. Hi, good evening, Deepti.
Hello.
Hi, I hope I'm audible.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you. Am I audible to you as well?
Just see what's wrong. Just give me a second.
Sure.
Hello.
Welcome, guys. We are starting with our live session, and we are going to be talking about food and its impact on the mind. And Deepti, I hope you can hear me now.
Yes, I can, Sanchita. Yes, I can. Thank you so
Awesome. Very
much.
good evening to you. Thank you for joining in.
Thank you so much for inviting. I guess it's a very interesting topic, and I would really want to share whatever I know. It's a very deep level of concepts that I would really want to share with everybody. So, if we understand these concepts, we can actually deal with our mind really nicely. So, yes, looking forward to the session for sure.
That's great. We are very excited to meet you as well. So, for our audience, Deepti, why don't
Thank
you
you.
introduce yourself?
Okay, so I am primarily a macrobiotic nutritionist, but the whole idea is I've studied nutrition from various perspectives. Like I've studied macrobiotic nutrition. I'm also a clinical nutritionist. I've
Okay.
studied Ayurveda nutrition. I've also studied raw and living foods nutrition, detox approach to nutrition. So, the experience comes from the understanding of nutrition from various perspectives. And it's been 10 years of research and studies into nutrition from different angles. And what I
Wow.
boil down now to is the idea of energy. So this is what I'm going to talk about today also. When we look at foods from the energy perspective, how it makes difference in terms of bringing, so it has the power to change your thoughts and emotions and mind completely if you actually understand food from the energy perspective.
Oh,
So,
nice.
yeah. So, just to add on here, one of course is my profile as a macrobiotic nutritionist and various other modalities that I'm educated into,
Yeah.
but it's co-joined with the concepts of yoga, which is very important. This is where I'll put a lot of emphasis on because, after studying all these concepts, what I strongly believe is that there is nothing more powerful from healing perspective. I'm not talking of these short-term goals of health, like somebody wanting to build muscles or somebody wanting to
Sure.
lose weight or whatever. So these are very physical or surface level goals. If we
Yeah.
start looking at our health goals beyond all this, and if we really want to focus on our energy in mind, then there is no
Hmm.
better nutritional understanding than yogic nutritional understanding. So I'll
Yeah.
try to pitch in a lot of such concepts in where so a lot will be kind of picked in from how
Sure.
yogic people understand nutrition and how it
Okay.
impacts the mind.
Okay. That's amazing. Such a beautiful, wholesome perspective to food and nutrition. And that's exactly what we are looking for, going beyond surface level goals of losing weight, building muscle. Yes, that is
Right,
important, but we are going to be talking more of energy, and we're going to be talking more of how food habits has an impact on our energy, the way we think, the way we feel. So
right.
super excited about our session.
Thank you. It's
Deepti,
equally
in
the same excitement to share.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for taking our time and being here, Deepti. We all want to know, I think during this pandemic, one of the most common concerns that we hear, especially I'm a therapist as well. So in my therapeutic settings, also a lot of people are talking about their relationship with food and how that impacts their mental health and their functioning throughout the day. So, in your field of expertise, what is the relationship between food and the mind?
Okay, it's a very, very vast topic, but I'll try starting with, answering your question only.
Sure.
If we look at this pandemic times and such kind of condition that we have faced during this pandemic has never been, at least in our history, like maybe our ancestors
Yeah.
must have gone through it, but then such kind of a strong impact on the mind, something that's hitting us physically, but also giving that kind of a mental impact is something that we've faced it for the first time, as
Yeah.
specifically our generation. Maybe we don't know, like our parents or maybe grandparents may have seen something like this in its own form, some bigger form, but then for our generation it is something to be experienced for the first time. Now there's
Definitely,
another
yeah.
concept which has really impacted, is that we were mentally and emotionally never prepared to be able to deal with such kind of a crisis ever. And
Hmm.
uh, specifically from the diet perspective, absolutely not. Why? Because our generation has seen diet from a perspective of building muscles, from the perspective of losing weight, from the perspective of counting calories, going
Yeah.
ahead with mono diet or a paleo diet, or these
Yeah.
fad kind of diets. But we haven't actually ever realized that how strongly foods can be related to your mind, and not just related, but you can actually change the what your mind actually goes through. You can change all of that if you know how to use foods the right way. It is not a short term journey, but it is something that you, once you understand, you start living this way, you gradually can actually take control of a lot of mind issues, anxieties, fears. And this is not something hypothetical that I'm talking about. I have personally gone through this experience. I've lived this lifestyle,
Definitely.
and this is where it is all coming from, that
Yeah.
mind does change, emotions change, thoughts change, and foods have
Hmm.
a great role to play. So this is where the starting is. But then, how do we relate the relationship of mind and foods?
Yeah.
uh, I'll start from the scientific perspective, okay, because, and
Sure.
I'll try taking you deeper into the ancient concepts. If you look at it from the modern perspective, it is proven by science that about 20% of your energy, like whatever foods you consume and whatever energy your body produces, out of that, about 20% energy is consumed by your brain.
Hmm.
Which means
Hmm.
brain is such a small part of this entire whole big body, and about 20% of energy going to the brain is a strong indicator how much our brain is consuming out of whatever we are doing and consuming. So, and one thing
Yeah.
also I would want to focus here, that when we are talking of energy, foods are one source of energy, but there are host of sources of energy. Like sun is an energy,
Yeah.
positive emotions is an energy, your foods, of course, is an energy. The What you do for yourself, your own connection with your own self, is its own kind of energy. So how broadly this topic, when I talk about it, I would really urge you to look at it from a very broad perspective. When we talk of energy, we are talking of anything and everything that can make you feel good. It could be anything.
Hmm.
It could be a
Hmm.
product, it could be food, it could be emotion, it could be somebody doing good to you, whatever. So it's that broad
Yeah.
concept, right? So now coming back to the science, it is also proven by science that so there was a research done on athletes and a lecturer, okay, to
Okay.
figure out whose energy is consumed more. And it was quite amazingly figured out that a lecturer ends up consuming way more energy than what an athlete would do. So athlete is using his
Hmm.
body through the day with
Yeah.
say 6 to 7 or 8 hours of practice,
Sure.
and a lecturer is just sitting there and using her mind to speak for those many hours. And
Hmm.
when the
Hmm.
energy consumption of these two were compared, it was figured out that a lecturer gets way more tired than what an athlete would
That's
would go through.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so this in itself is a big revelation that how much energy mind is consuming. Now,
Yeah.
let's try to look at it. So this is from the modern perspective, right? Now, I'll try joining these concepts with the ancient way of looking at foods. In modern way of diet, when we do a diet plan, or we think of foods, it is just the physical part of it that we are thinking about. We are thinking of how many proteins or how many calories this food has, how many vitamins this food has. So
Yeah.
we are actually never thinking of what kind of energy this food may give, have what kind of impact this food may have on my mind. I'll again give you an example. Somebody who's had a very heavy lunch, basis some fried items, or real heavy stuff, like too much of a sugary item and all that,
Yeah.
tends to feel sleepy and lazy after their meals.
That's true.
And
That's
that's a very
true.
common scenario. It happens with all of us. Now, this
Yeah.
is the subtle aspect of energy. This is what I'm trying to explain as energy. Of course, you may have consumed that full platter of fried stuff, or that refined stuff, or that fuller stuff, which may have satiated you. You may be, your tummy may be satisfied, but somewhere mind is getting a little lazy. It's getting into that phase
Yeah.
of inertia where it doesn't want to move. Your body wants to move, but your mind is not supporting you. So this is the subtle element of energy. How this is one example how you consumed a specific kind of food and what kind of energy it gave you, right?
Yeah.
So this is again, in modern sense, we don't ever relate this energy aspect to how our foods are working with us. But if you
Sure.
get into the ancient understanding of foods, whether it be Ayurvedic way of looking at foods, or yogic way of looking at foods, or macrobiotic way of looking at foods, or traditional Chinese medicine way of looking at foods, physical, how we change body with the foods has always been their secondary concept. The primary concept, and specifically in yoga way of living, the entire
Yeah.
mind is about entire idea is about understanding the mind. How do you satiate your mind, either through your practices, or through your rituals, or through the practices that you follow, or the kind of even foods that you consume. So the primary
Sure.
purpose
Yeah.
always is you make sure that your mind is settled down with the kind of foods and practices or lifestyle that you're doing. If your mind is settled down, automatically your body is taken care of, because any kind, so a lot of diseases that we are going through these days are
Yeah.
psychosomatic in nature. It starts in the mind and
Definitely.
manifests in the body. Yeah, and I think you, being a psychologist, you can relate to these concepts, what I'm talking about. So now, what modern way of looking at foods has done is it's segregated the two areas:
Yeah.
food for the body, food for the mind. I don't think, like, for in modern way of looking at foods, we are actually talking of foods for the mind. Hardly, maybe few people may be talking about it. Our
True.
major focus is on physicality: food for the body, food for the muscle, food for the weight, food for diabetes, and n number of conditions. But there is no such talk on food for the mind. And I would really appreciate
Yeah.
you to kind of having taken up this topic, which is very important, because even if you do a lot with foods for your body and your mind is not in place, then you're not doing yourself much good, because everything is being controlled and being directed by the mind. So you have to really
Definitely.
satiate mind with the right kind of foods. So this is where we are from the modern, and touch base on the ancient perspective. If we get a
Yeah.
little deeper into it and we talk of energy of foods from the ancient perspective, now it's not specifically from one specific kind of a modality. It's the crux of all the modalities that I just talked about. Now, the sciences have a viewpoint that, and specifically in Ayurveda, it's very well captured in Ayurveda, that there are three qualities of the mind. Like, there are three qualities of the three energies which impact our body, which is Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. And similarly, there are three different energies which rule our mind. Okay, so there's this Sattva energy, then there's this Rajasic energy, and then we have this Tamasic energy. Okay, so these are some of the concepts which Ayurveda has talked about, and the framework is so simple to understand that if you understand what is Sattvic energy, what is Rajasic energy, what is Tamasic energy, you know what to feed your mind. It's as simple format as that, but simplicity is complicated, as I always say. So, but I'll try
Yeah.
explaining this concept now. Sattva, or Sattvic, if you try to elaborate on that, Sattva or Sattvic is about purity, it's about calmness, it is about peace. This is the quality. So if your mind is more on the Sattvic side, you will be more of a calm and peaceful and joyous and happy kind of a person, happy-go-lucky. Even if situations are not in your favor, still you will be
Yeah.
able to mold those situations in your favor. So you're a balanced person that way. If your mind is more on the Rajasic side and imbalanced on the Rajasic, so there are two ways of understanding Rajasic also. One way of understanding is that Rajasic means that you're a very active person, like your mind is always thinking and running. You want, so you have some goals to achieve, and you are always, maybe in your dreams also, you're just thinking, how do I achieve my goal, which is a positive thing. But then overdoing that, and when you you kind of cross your limits, when you start to tire your brain and body with that thinking, and when that with that one pointed mindset, by forgetting what is happening around you, whether it be your body, then you are getting into that overdrive of Rajasic way of mind. So even if you're achieving your goals with that Rajasic state, still it is quite possible that you are, because you're getting into that overdrive, you will end up tiring your mind endlessly, and you will not be able to sustain with it for a very long time. And that's where, which is so if I have to relate this situation to what is happening right now, rather in COVID times also and otherwise also, we have been more on the Rajasic way of thinking. Our mind has been Rajasic, where because of that overthinking and near and dear ones going through this pandemic and all that, we have reached a stage of overthinking, and we've saturated our own selves. Right. And we did not just knew that what is the right way of handling your mind. Our entire focus had been how to take control of the body. We never thought that mind is also equally getting impacted with the pandemic. So this has been a little gap, and this is also one of the reasons why a lot of people have actually gone through a lot of psychological issues during this time, because you are trying to take control of the body, which is very much important, which is required, we do understand. But if you're not supporting your mind, your body is not with you for a very long time. All those hormones are being secreted by the signaling of the mind only. All the functioning is happening through the mind. So so this has been one gap. Now coming to the tamasic side of foods. Tamasic is the exact example that I just gave you with those fried foods. Like, you just had your meal and then you just want to be a couch potato. You just don't want to do anything. So, there are three different ways of understanding your mind. Rajasic would be overdrive or high. Tamasic would be lazy, inertia. You just don't want to move and don't want to do things. And something in between, which is balance of activity and passiveness, and also peace and calm within you. You know when to be happy, you know when to be sad, and then you also know how to bring yourself back to balance. Now, these three energies, as per Ayurveda, can be balanced by consuming specific kinds of foods. Now, but this is not a standardized model, and that's the reason, the way we look at it in modern way of things, it's very standardized. Like somebody with depression, maybe, a group of people with depression can do with one kind of medication only. Right. But in Ayurveda, people, same group of people with depression will have a different mode of healing. Maybe their depression is because their body is tired and they are not able to achieve what they want to achieve, and they get into that low. Maybe their depression is because their mind actually there is something wrong with the chemical imbalance in the mind. So there could be multiple reasons when you look at it from the individualized perspective. And that's where you actually need to understand the person, why such kind of mind issues are happening to this person, and what kind of foods will help them. Like, if you are on the side of overdrive towards Rajasic side, or if you're on the side of overdrive towards Tamasic side, the manifestation is going to be lows and depression. Both will lead you to lows and depression. So it's very important to understand whether your lows is because of too much of a high or too much of a low. That's one way of looking at it. Where do foods help? Now, the Ayurveda model, how does it help you there? Ayurveda clearly classifies foods in these three different categories. Like, there are foods which come under the category of sattvic foods, there are foods which are categorized as Rajasic foods, and the ones which are categorized as Tamasic foods. If you are a very lazy kind of a person, like, you want to do things, but then somehow you don't have energy, or you just don't feel like doing it, so you keep shuffling between in those two boats. In that case, it is a good idea for you to balance your condition. You consume more of sattvic foods, and you also consume some part of Rajasic foods, because you are so much into that state of inertia that you need some push or activity. So that push or activity you will get through the foods which are giving you that Rajasic component. So you are supporting your mind to do some activity. And the beauty of this model is that so if you want to, from a state of inertia, if you want to get onto the way of sattvic, so just to before I talk of this, another important thing to know, that sattvic way of reaching the stage of sattvic way of thinking and lifestyle is the state where you transcend beyond anything disturbing you. So you
Okay.
become a very balanced kind of a person. So
Sure.
this is the and this is how we were born as humans. We were supposed to be in a sattvic state of mind, but
Hmm.
because of our choices, way of life, the way
Things have
we
changed. Yeah.
started doing, yes, and then overdrive because we're doing so much in our daily lives, we are not balancing it, and then we are not realizing it also that it's too much for us to do to handle.
True. True.
Because of that, what is happening is, since we do not realize either it's too low or too high for me, whether I should be balanced or not, we are completely in a confused state of mind. So when we keep this model in mind, we know that our basic nature is to be calm and peaceful. It is
Yeah.
not something that I have to achieve, but this is what I am. It is within me only. It
Interesting.
is there.
Yeah.
I need to do something so that I reach my state of balance. Now, what
Hmm.
do? I align my diet and activities in a way so that I start reaching that stage of balance or sattvic way of life. When you start walking this path, either from the body perspective or from the mind perspective, like sattvic, rajasic, tamasic applies to your body also, because when you're consuming foods, of course, it is working on your body. The way your
Yeah.
body is processing the foods, that energy is being driven and it's being kind of rising upwards and giving that those feelings to your mind. So the route
Definitely.
to your mind starts with what you consume and you take in, what kind of energy gets extracted out of those foods, and what reaches at the top of your head to give you specific feelings, whether sattvic, rajasic, or tamasic. So this is one
Yeah.
concept that is important to
Sure. Sure.
understand.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay. Okay.
so
Um,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
so
Just to cut you here a little bit
yeah,
and add to what you're saying, I think this is so interesting with the perspective that you bring in, having sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic types of food, and indulging in each and understanding the way your body is functioning through food is, I think, it's a very
right.
interesting perspective. In terms of really adding the mental health understanding of this also, it's I think also attached to hormones, because we call our
Yes, it is.
gastrointestinal tract as the second brain of the body, because
Yes,
a lot
yes.
of food that we eat is being digested there, and our two basic most important neurotransmitters like dopamine or serotonin, they are
Mm-hmm.
they are signaled through the gut.
Yes.
And like sattvic food, which is, I'm sure, very healthy, wholesome, fibrous,
Mm-hmm.
release the right kind of neurotransmitters in the body that are responsible for mood elevation, active energy.
Yes.
On the other hand, if we have fried food and overdriven rajasic or tamasic in extreme, that might reduce the release of these hormones and leading to
Yes.
low energies and depressive state of
Yes.
mind. So I think it is
Yes.
it is so much connected with hormones of the body as well, and
It
it
is.
really
It
resonates with what
is.
you're saying. Just to give a
I will speak
specific
about it. Yeah.
idea to the audience as well, because we have 10 minutes right now in the
Mm-hmm.
session. A lot of people are very curious in understanding what are the sattvic foods that are helpful, and a little bit on rajasic and tamasic food as well. So over to you. What are sattvic foods? Some specific food groups that people should look out for?
Yes. So sattvic foods, something like green leafy vegetables, something like these
Yeah.
round vegetables, something like bottle gourd or tomatoes, cucumbers. Carrots are considered to be a little on the Rajasic side. Even beetroots are also on a little Rajasic side, which also
Okay.
means that people who are weaker in constitution, who have this weak state of mind, who do not have that clarity of thought, clarity of mind, and who feel weak in decision making, for them these Rajasic foods are very good,
Okay.
because that gives
Okay.
them that power to be a little more active and take action and think about what they want to do. So that's how you start
Interesting.
applying this model
Hmm.
to yourself. You understand your inner self, and then you apply what energy these foods are giving you. So sattvic foods, as I said, so precisely, majorly all fruits and vegetables lie under this category of sattvic, except some, like as I told you, carrot and beetroot are the ones which are more on the rajasic side. The Rajasic foods are the ones precisely that we are consuming today in today's times. Processed foods, refined foods, pizzas, burgers, too much of spicy foods, too much of artificial sweeteners, anything that's kind of burdening our body a lot
Yeah.
and taking
Yeah.
us into this state of, and sugars are highly rajasic. Like just to give an example, if you give if there's a small child and the small child is eating too much of a sugar, he'll get into this state of hyperactivity. What is hyperactivity? It is
Definitely.
overdrive of rajasic way state
Yeah.
of being. So then when you
So
understand
true.
this model,
Yeah.
you understand the child is getting into that overdrive. What I need to do now, I need to bring back his energy, balance his energy in a way so that he gets into that sattvic mode. What route will you take in that case? If somebody or even the child is in more on the rajasic side, you will reduce his or her consumption of these overdriving foods like processed foods, outside foods, spicy foods, and bring them
Hmm.
more on the balancing side of foods, like the juicy ones, like
Yeah.
carrots, tomatoes, green leafy vegetables. How you implement it in your routine is something that you really have to figure out, because some people are really fussy about including these, but then this is the only way to transformation. If you are looking for skip the path of medical way of looking at it, or skipping the medicine way of it, and you really want to heal at the root level, this is the model that gives you a really good picture of what you need to do. Another important aspect to know here is that if you are on the tamasic side, it is the most toughest situation to deal with. It's something like a state of Kumbhkarna. If I have to relate to Ramayana,
Hmm.
Kumbhkarna was completely in a tamasic state. He used to eat so much
Yeah.
of a food and then used to keep sleeping for a few months, which also means,
Hmm.
which is an understanding for us also, that if you are overeating,
Yeah.
irrespective of whatever foods you're eating, irrespective of even if you're doing these sattvic foods, but you're overeating, then you are driving yourself towards a state of inertia, towards a state of tamasic
Yeah.
being. And when you are getting
Hmm.
tamasic, you cannot directly get sattvic, because inertia needs some activity. When you get that
Hmm.
activity, then you get all the energy to think which way do I have to go. So the path from tamasic to sattvic goes via rajasic. There's no direct way there. But if you are
Okay. Very
Rajasic, you are a
interesting.
level above, where you can, from Rajasic, you can go transcend above and reach Sattvic nicely. So it is always a good idea. If you're a lazy person, if you're a very couch potato kind of a person, the very first thing that you need to do is get into activity. That is the Rajasic way of being. Either you get into activity, or you start consuming foods which give you some movement. Like ginger is a very good food to give you some movement. Spices are very good food to give you some movement inside the body. But of course, you have to work on your activity also along with it. It's
Yeah.
only not one thing that's
Definitely.
going to work within you. But the whole idea is understanding this model. So once you have a clarity, this is how the entire interplay of energies is happening at the mind level. Then you know your path. What is happening to me? What am I supposed to do? Like, for a lot of people who are into depression, are also the ones
Hmm.
majorly who are into this tamasic state, who want to do things but do not have energy, or who are very fearful of going ahead and doing things, or are just lying down doing nothing. So they have to
Yeah.
really understand, just by sitting and having medication, they'll not reach that stage of peace and joy, because it it goes via rajasic state, which means you have to get active, start to do things, and then realize that there is a way above. You have to
Sure.
if you have to reach that state of calmness, then you have to do a lot within yourself, from all perspectives, diet, lifestyle, and all these
Okay.
aspects. So
Okay.
yeah, this is
Okay.
precisely how the whole model is. But there's one last thing, joining the yogic aspect of understanding this. I guess this is a food for thought for everybody. If you have ever gotten a chance to understand how yogis eat and how saints or monks eat, you will realize that their diet is very limited. It's
Hmm.
very the food choices are really limited. It's very chosen ones, and they stick to it for a lifetime. Why is
Yeah.
it so? Like, they, not that they do not have the option, but why, when you are into that monk or saint way of life, why are you eating such kind of foods? There has to be some science behind it. Now, what is the science is, beyond modern nutrition, the people who start walking the spiritual path do understand that it is only that energy that will make them reach that path, where what they are walking on.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
this energy
Yeah.
is the sattvic energy. And for them to attain that sattvic energy, they have to make sure that they're eating foods which are giving that highest quality of sattva element to their mind. And that's the
Hmm.
reason they stick to a
Hmm.
specific kind of dietary concept only. So, and
Yeah.
this is, I would say, rather, this is also the concept of longevity. Like, there have been a lot of studies being done on what kind of diet and lifestyle works towards longevity. It is not calorie counted concept. It is not protein. It is not mono or any kind of fat. It is the concept of
Hmm.
energy that will lead you there.
How interesting. I
So,
had so many
this is how it
questions
goes.
here where I had to talk to you a little bit about carbs and protein and fiber. And I think I would like to slash all the questions down here because
Hmm.
I mean, it's so inspirational to hear you talk about the concept of energy that is derived from food.
Right.
And I love the fact how you put into perspective how maybe some children who are very overdriven in nature, who are
Right.
hyperactive, maybe they're just consuming the kind of food items that is
Yes, you
making
have to
them
really look into what is going into them. Is it excess energy going into them? Then you have to
yeah,
really pull down that energy and balance it out with the balancing energy. Not that you just have to pull out and stop them there, but then compensate it with
definitely.
something that balances them.
And vice versa, there are some children who are also little, laid back and lazy. They're not as
Yes.
active, and that's
Then
where
you
we
have to
move
push them towards
towards,
activity through foods
yeah,
and lifestyle.
through
Yes.
Rajtik said
Yeah.
food groups. That's
Yes.
what you said.
Yes.
Yeah,
Foods
amazing,
and activity
amazing.
goes hand in hand. So only foods will not work. Foods will definitely give them the energy to go and do things. But then unless they go and do things, they will not be able to reach a stage where they start thinking of sattvic way of life.
Hmm. That's great. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. Just a few perspectives before we take up some questions and comments, and we'll end the live after.
Hmm.
So, people talk a lot about proportion control. Like you said, monks have a limited way of functioning. Saints are not
Yes.
overeating, they are
Right.
very specific about the food they're
Handful.
eating.
So
It's
how
limited,
how
it's very
how
handful.
yes, how
Yeah.
Sikh community looks at it is that you just fold your hands and you make a kind of a bowl with your hands. Whatever
Hmm.
fits into that bowl in your hand is what is the size of your stomach, and this is all you need in one meal. So
Wow.
this is a
Interesting.
marker like how much you should be eating or what you're supposed to eat.
Okay. And I mean, although we are staying away from protein, carb, fibrous sort of a conversation, but
Mm-hmm.
any specific grams that you must eat, and what is the difference between an elderly individual eating particular amount of food to a young adult to a child? Do these things also vary?
They do actually. Okay, so how when now coming on to the practical way of living, what we've just discussed, modern way of looking at things or knowing the nutritional components and merging them with these concepts that we've just discussed goes a long
Yeah.
way in ensuring that your health is in place and your longevity is also in place.
Okay.
But how do you bring the two concepts together is one thing that we definitely for sure know is that specifically we Indians are low on protein and fiber. We are
Hmm.
low, like even if we don't get any tests done, it is
Hmm.
proven scientifically and by research that Indians by default are low in fiber and proteins. So which
Okay.
means that we have to be really particular that our protein intake is good, not over. When I
Hmm.
say good, it means if it is 0.08 grams, zero point 0.8 grams for per kg body weight, at least you ensure that if you're 50 kgs, 50 multiplied by zero point 0.8, whatever number you get, you make sure that precisely or somewhere around that number, that kind of a protein you're consuming. Having said that, it is equally important. Now, how do you apply the concept of energy there? Now, say for example, your requirement is 40 grams of protein in a day.
Sure.
And if you are trying to complete that requirement by adding a lot of animal food, what you're doing,
Hmm.
you are taking control of your protein needs, but you are
Hmm.
adding a lot of aggressive energy, you're adding a lot of rajasic energy to yourself. So there
Hmm.
gets a mismatch. So you have to see what sources are you choosing to make sure that
Interesting.
that nutritional
Yeah.
elements are also taken care of and the energy also is positive. So that's where you bring the two things together. So the
Okay.
protein is one thing that you have to be aware of. Your B12 is something you have to be aware of when you're living this kind of a lifestyle, because we Indians are by default low on B12 also, because the
Hmm.
kind of foods that we are getting and our disconnect with the nature and mud and all that is leading us to a lot of B12 deficiencies. Then you have to be aware of your fiber intake. This is one thing that's giving us a lot of constipation or bowel kind of issues, which are
Yeah.
which is becoming the root of a lot of other conditions, autoimmune disorders, emotional disorders. We don't ever relate how as small problem as constipation can be behind your depression. There is a direct
Yeah.
correlation, but it manifests over years. It doesn't happen in a day. It will happen once you kind of you constantly day in day out you've been really constipated and you have never bothered about it, and then you've started to fill your body with all kinds of wrong foods. Ultimately all that toxicity that's getting accumulated someday will manifest into your body getting highly loaded, your energy levels coming down, you getting into more into that inertia
Hmm.
state. Inertia ultimately leads to lows and depressions. So there's
Okay.
this, that's how the chain is happening there.
Okay. Okay. All right. And any difference in elderly, children, adults in terms of the
Yes,
grams of?
yes. See,
Okay.
for children, because there are counts. I would not deny. Like if you look at modern nutrition, they will give you a chart of the count how you should be looking at it. But precisely with my practice into different understanding of foods, I don't go by it. What I go by is that, like if I talk of my kids also, like you know,
Hmm.
I have kept them off foods which can actually disturb their mental makeup. So that this is the parameter that I go ahead with. Now I
Okay.
know that if I keep their mind balanced, if I keep their so this is where the concept of emotions also, sorry, hormones also comes into the picture. When I'm trying to keep their mind balanced, if their mind is balanced, the right signaling is happening to the brain. These right signals are producing right hormones, and these right hormones are taking care of whatever nutrition needs to be extracted with whatever
Sure.
kind of foods they are consuming. So what you need to
Hmm.
understand is that one way of looking at things is that you keep consuming good foods and you don't take control of your mind. What will happen is,
Yeah.
maybe consuming the bestest kinds of foods on earth, but then when your mind is under in a state of inertia or in a state of overdrive, ultimately the signaling is not right, hormones are not right. So even if you have the bestest of foods, what you're extracting and getting out of it is something that's not working for you, because your emotions are all up and
Hmm.
down. So but
Hmm.
when you're not focusing on what numbers, what grams, you're just focusing on dense nutrition, which means making sure that the kids don't binge onto the wrong stuff, they eat the right
Yeah.
stuff, and you focus on balancing their energies at the sattvic level. Their mind is in balance, hormones are in balance. So even if you're consuming lesser quantity of those numbers that you're talking about, you're extracting more. Why? Because hormones have this capability of signaling right, telling your stomach to
Yeah.
extract the right stuff. Yeah, so
Sure. Sure. Okay.
this is how you're
Yeah.
supposed to look at it, rather than counting stuff and knowing what is the right way of looking. And the similar analogy goes for elderly diet also, because in elderly, over time, what starts to happen is that we've built up a lot of imbalances because we were never aware that mind has such a strong role to play when it comes to
Yeah.
hormones and foods and everything. So
Hmm.
most probably with a lot of elderly people, all these health conditions, accumulations, arthritis, whatever health conditions they're facing with, are a manifestation of course, foods and lifestyle, but more so because of the mind, because they haven't ever actually thought of that mind can be so powerful to be able to playing around with
Hmm.
the extraction, absorption, digestion of foods that that's going in. So the very first thing for elderly, and it's a little easier also to explain elderly, like, but I don't know, like a lot of elderly just don't want to listen to what youngsters are saying. But it is always a
Yeah.
good idea to talk to them and explain them that it is always a good idea to bring their mind in balance if they are disturbed, because even if they're
Yeah.
not changing anything in their diet, and they are able to take control of the mind to a level where their mind starts to settle down, with the same foods they'll be extracting more, they will be able to
Sure.
utilize more out of it, because
Okay.
hormones will start to balance. So that's the very
Hmm.
first step, if we can work with them on those lines. If not, because working with the mind with the elderly is not very easy, it's an easier job than done. um,
Hmm.
the second way out is that you start to focus or make sure that the foods that they are putting in are of sattvic quality. That's very important,
Yeah.
because see, mind body complex is interconnected, and how we look at it in
Right.
macrobiotics is that if you start working on one area, the other area gradually, if you keep doing good stuff or the sattvic stuff to your body, the energy that gets produced in the body automatically reaches the mind in that form only. So
Hmm.
so it's something like like when you cook rice, and the steam that happens out of it, it's that steaming effect of the foods that you've consumed, the energy aspect that is very unseen, but it rises above you to reach your brain. If it is a positive energy rising above you, it will make you really feel very light and positive and happy and sattvic. If it is very
Okay.
higher energy, it will settle down, it will go deeper into your body. That's where you start to feel very heavy, your midsection starts to
Hmm.
grow, you start to pile up a lot of weight. So when you start becoming mindful, you can actually feel those things. Like, it started to happen with me. Now I can figure out what I had consumed, what
Hmm.
energy these foods gave me, whether it gave me an upward energy where I'm feeling light and happy and joyous, and or I'm feeling really pulled down, like my body's feeling very heavy, my lower
Yeah.
body seems as if like I just don't want to move. So small things,
Hmm.
but give you a lot of clues what's happening within you with the specific kinds of foods that you're consuming. So
Okay.
it's a very
Okay.
interesting science, like
Okay.
once you start getting deeper into it.
I think so too. I think it is amazing. I think this insight helped a lot of us today in understanding beyond going, into understanding kitna protein, kitna carbs, kitna आपको fiber
Right.
लेना है. Build more on the energy that you're getting out of this food. Build more on how you really feel after you eat something. If it's
Yes.
increasing your
So,
energy, if
the
it's making you feel
focus,
good,
yes, the focus
sticking
has
to
to
that
be
food group
not
is good.
onto counting stuff. The focus has to be how do you feel. So, a very small, takeaway, if I have to give you out of all this, is that
Yeah.
rather than when you have your meals, before your meals, rather than counting how many calories I had just consumed, forget about that. Have your meal, and 20 minutes after having your meal, just see how do you feel. that brings all the difference between knowing whether you are focusing on the physicality of the food or the energy of the food. Because after 20 minutes, those receptors start to send signals to the brain that, I'm feeling full, and that, I'll stop eating. So that energy starts to traverse to the mind. So if you start to connect with your body at that very moment after 20 minutes of consuming, you'll actually feel how, you'll actually get to know how is your body feeling with the specific kind of foods that you had just consumed. So, and if you become
Yeah.
mindful of that, you can actually start cutting down those items and start including more of lighter and sattvic kind of elements.
Amazing.
And that's where you
Thank
can
you. Thank
also
you for
start to
that
see a lot of
view.
things changing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I think we're gonna bring an end to this session, but before we do, we're gonna just go through certain questions if there are any in the comment section.
Sure.
And let's see what we have here. We have Tamanna who's asking, what is your view on plant-based meat?
Plant-based meat is a very good addition, and specifically for the ones who are transitioning from modern way of eating to a vegan or natural way of eating. Why? Because see, the heaviness that we just talked about is coming from the kind of fats that we are consuming, which means even if we want to leave it out, our mind is in that overdrive that even if our body will leave it, our mind will ask for it because of that
Yeah.
rajasic overdrive. Rajasic overdrive will always ask for those, rather even tamasic also, because it's that inertia state where a lot of heaviness you're putting inside. So somebody who's a couch potato will crave for all the foods which are giving even more, inertia to their own body. So
Sure.
when you're transitioning, so there, how you need to understand is in the steps or phases format. Phase one, when you're transitioning, is all about eliminating everything that is not right in your modern way of eating, and
Yeah.
starting to add things that can be a substitute of the foods that you're used to. Like for example, if you're used to cheeses, so rather than having cheese coming from dairy, start to have switch on to cheese coming from plant-based sources. That's a very good idea. But this approach, thinking of losing weight through this approach is something that you have to keep it a little aside, because it will happen over time. This is not a quick fix about weight or something. This is where you are actually working with the foods and your brain directly. So it's an indirect route to weight loss. Through your mind, you're changing your hormones, and those hormones will ultimately bring about changes in your weight, which is long-term path, which is not something like a calorie counted stuff. So this is very important to understand. Yeah. So you start with phase one, where you do the substitutions. Gradually, when you do the substitutions, you start to see some changes happening within you. Now, basis after a certain time, when you get comfortable with those changes and you think that yes, whatever I had left, I have no cravings for those, and whatever I'm consuming right now, I'm comfortable with that. Then you take yourself in the phase two, or get a little deeper, where if you want to eliminate, you can go off these plant-based meats also one by one. Or if you're having 3 times a day, switching on to more of shifting it to once a day or something like that, and see if how. So you have to really go very slow with the body, because body is smart, but mind will not support you. Mind is something that will always deviate you on the wrong path. So that's why knowing these 3 energies is very important. When you understand this concept of energies, you actually know which state I am right now. And the beauty of this concept is that these states keep changing. In a day, you might multiple times you might experience sattvic state, multiple times you might experience rajasic state, multiple times you might experience inertia also. Like state of sleep is nothing but inertia, but it is very important. You cannot say that I should be completely eliminating inertia state. If we do that, then also we are in imbalance. So you have to be really know and aware that when is the right time for all these 3 stages to work within you. What are the foods at the right time that will support you with these 3 energies, so that your mind starts to play around with the right energies and give you those feelings which are right, and those actions which are right for you. So this is how the entire model is all about. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. So we'll take one last question, and then we'll probably end the session.
Sure.
Gauri asks, what are the ideal time of meals?
Okay, so again, 3-4 different ways of looking at it. I will take it from the modern perspective. It's somebody who is very ill or chronically ill. If you look at the timings from this, somebody with this kind of a condition perspective, in that case, it is very important for such people to be very particular about their timings. Why? Because when you are on a healing path and your body is used to very heavy stuff, and when you start eliminating, your body may not take it nicely. And you may not even have strength also. Like for the elderly people, their body is used, they know these foods are causing them problem. If even if
Yeah.
they know, they may not be able to leave it. Why? Because as soon as they leave it, other symptoms start to happen, which are not very comfortable for them, right? So it doesn't become very easy for them to leave all that stuff. So for such kind of people, whatever timings they are following right now, you stick to those timings, but start to bring about changes in the choices of foods. That's for such kind of people. For the people
Yeah.
who do not have chronic conditions, for people like us, who have some small things happening to them here and there, sometimes migraine happening, sometimes aches and pains happening, sometimes just low energy happening, but we do not have any chronic issues as such. For in
Yeah.
such kind of conditions, the best approach is that you whatever timings you are following, specifically the breakfast and lunchtime, try to stick to it. Don't play around a lot with that, but then start to bring about changes in your dinner timings. Like start to practice this intermittent fasting. So try to give that longer gap between your meals and see how things are changing for you. Once you establish a control over that fasting thing, it'll be very easy for you to bring about changes in your meal timings.
Okay.
But for such kind of people, it is also very important to have your breakfast and lunch at the specific time, and during those pitta hours of the day, that is very important. So somewhere between 10 to 1 is a very good time to consume all heavy meals that you want to have. If you
Okay.
want to have brunch kind of a thing, that 11:30 is a good time. If you want to have two meals, then have your first meal by. So when I say meal, it's more about carbohydrates, proteins, and fats that I'm talking about. But if it is more about smoothies and juices, in that case you can start from very early also, because they are not adding on a lot of load to your body. But those heavy kind of components, specifically the ones that take a lot of energy for digestion, carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, try to have maximum of those during those pitta hours of the day. That's where you're supporting your energies also, because your body has that energy to digest all those foods, not in the later part of the day. And for the people who are walking the yogic way of life or Ayurvedic way of life, who've transcended above all these ordinary ways of life and reached a stage where they're self-realized, they know what is happening to you, and what
Yeah.
do I want to achieve, and their body has all that strength and energy. In that case, I would say sky is the limit. You can practice fasting once a week. You can see what model is working for you. Like if I talk about myself, I've transcended to a state where I do not have my first meal until 1, somewhere between 12 or 1. Mornings are all about juices and smoothies only. And I don't feel that craving also. Rather, the day I have it, I immediately sense that energy is not working well within me. I'm not able to work. I'm not able to focus. So, but it is a gradual process. It's a step-by-step process.
Sure.
Day one onwards, you cannot do that. Like I have been working on it for last 10 years. So I've reached a stage after 10 years where this is working for me, but it may not
Yeah.
work for you. So just to summarize it, there is no direct answer to what are the best timings. It actually varies which stage of life you are in, what kind of health condition you are in, and where do you want to go, what is your goal. And then you start
Okay.
working on it, and gradually you enhance your capability of living this way, how it works for you. So that's how it
Very
goes.
nice. I think I had such a great time listening to you talk. There was so much of knowledge that came our way, and I think the audience also, I'm sure, pretty much enjoyed it. There are a lot of comments about what you're saying makes so much sense. Thank you so much, Deepti, for taking our time for our audience and telling them a little bit about how mind and food habits are connected. We are very grateful that this sort of information came our way. And I'm sure that the audience will make certain changes according to the way that you've explained things to them. Please follow Deepti on her page. Can you please shout out your page's name?
Yeah, so I'm available at Conscious Self Care Deepti. That's my personal page, and I have my own self care brand, which is Swarasya. So you can find me anywhere, both the places.
Yes, please do. I'm sure I will. Thank you so much, Deepti. We will hopefully see you soon sometime. And
Thank you.
all the best to you. All the best for your journey.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good evening. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you all for joining in for a yet another exciting session on food and how it impacts our mind. I know some of you just joined in, so I will be posting this live on our Insta handle so you can watch it from the beginning. If you still have some more questions, you can put it in the comments section and I will be asking the expert to reply them to you. I hope that this session was helpful. It was definitely helpful for me. Have a good evening and a happy weekend to all of you. Stay healthy, stay fit.